right, good evening fellow Toastmaster members. So fear, this is the title of my speech tonight. But fear is a pretty general term, and there are hundreds and even thousands of different fears out there that we all might have. But the fear that I'm speaking on tonight is a topic that not only I am very familiar with, but I'm sure that many of us in this room are familiar with too, and that's the fear of public speaking. So tonight I want to touch on some of the basic fears of public speaking, which ones apply to me, and ways to help us conquer this fear. I have read many different times that in some cases people would rather die than to public speak. Now that's a pretty powerful statement. Now my feelings are not that strong about public speaking. They are, however, very overwhelming at times. So what are some of the most common fears of public speaking? Is it fear of embarrassment, large crowds, or being judged? Or maybe a lack of confidence, or pusillanimous? There are also physical factors that I feel that play a part in my fear of public speaking, and that's such as shaking hands, trembling voice, sweating, or blushing. When I experience and feel these physical symptoms, it only adds to my fear of embarrassment because I feel that everyone can see or hear these symptoms. There's also an aspect of public speaking that, if I have to be totally honest, kind of scares me more than the act itself, and that is the anticipatory anxiety. Anticipatory anxiety, in my own words, is the constant and persistent fear going through my mind leading up to a certain event. And this can happen days, even weeks ahead of time. I know professionally that I've looked up to a number of people who I had full 100% confidence in. I want to be one of those people that others look up to. So why do I tell you this? Because when I public speak, I feel that others might see a side of me that is nervous or insecure in some way, and that truly bothers me because the people I looked up to never seem to have these issues. I've done a lot of law enforcement in my career in the Coast Guard, and since law enforcement interacts with the public, they teach us that about 7% of our communication actually involves the words that we speak. 55% of our communication is visual, such as body language and eye contact, and 38% is of vocal, such as pitch, speed, volume, and the tone of our voice. And I find this to be very true. I have watched and listened to many people give training in front of very large crowds. They've messed up, they've mispronounced words, or they're not necessarily clear with the subject that they're trying to teach. But they did it with calmness and confidence and did not get flustered or embarrassed when they messed up. They just owned it and they moved on. And although the training might not have been the most valuable due to the content taught, I still walked away with confidence in the individual because he or she seemed to be under control and confident in themselves. So what are some of the things that we can do to help us conquer these fears? Well, we can prepare very well for the speaking engagement, and we can consider the questions that might arise so that we can be prepared if they do. We can also practice numerous times, maybe even in the actual area where we might be given the speech. Other ways might be to stay away from caffeine or other stimulants that might make us anxious or excited. And it's kind of funny that I say that because all of our meetings are held in a coffee house around a ton of caffeinated beverages. But it is one way that I personally use to keep my nerves down, is to stay away from any kind of caffeine or stimulants. But the number one way, in my opinion, is having the opportunity to come to meetings just like the one tonight. Toastmasters offers us an atmosphere where I don't feel like I'm being judged. This allows me to put all my fears and insecurities about public speaking on display while taking slow steps each speech and leadership role, challenging us to become better. All of us in the room tonight are tied together. All of us in the room tonight are here for a reason that's tied to public speaking or we would not volunteer our free time to write speeches and show up every Monday night. The results in myself and others that I've seen by coming to these meetings are undeniable. I've told a couple people before that I feel the hardest part about joining Toastmasters is coming back after that first initial meeting that you go to. Showing up to an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar people, you're watching guys stand up, give speeches, table topics, and it's almost enough to scare you to death. And that was pretty much kind of the case with me. But coming back was one of the best decisions I could have made, because it allowed me to face my fears and see some real positive changes in myself. So all of us have obviously come back after that first initial meeting, and I hope that all of you tonight have experienced positive changes in yourself. There are no negatives for being here. You can literally only improve by attending these meetings. And with that, I wish you all the best of luck on your own public speaking journey.
Thank you, Luke. And the statistic you were looking for is they've done surveys on what people fear the most. And it's true. People would rather be in the box than the person given the eulogy. Right.
I've read that multiple places too, not just one. Like, I've seen it a lot.
Yep. And you're right, the best way to get over that fear is just come to meetings like this, where hopefully we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. That is our club motto.
Good.
Our